Greetings, brothers and sisters, and welcome to our study today, Sabbath, the 28th of June, 2025, where we are looking this afternoon at a study entitled Pregnancy and Midwifery in the Bible and Spirit of Prophecy by Brother Keagan, Banda. So we are just opening the study, and then yes, we will now be able to share with everyone. Remember, these studies normally, after everything is done, we do. There is not enough discontinuity memory. Okay, let me just say okay. All right, so I'll do the screen sharing. Okay. Okay, you can come through, Brother Keagan, now to give us the prayer thought and the prayer as we look at pregnancy and midwifery in the Bible and the Spirit of Prophecy.
Okay, the prayer thought is coming from the Psalms. It's coming from the Psalms 127, verse 3. It records, it says, Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord. Children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. The fruit of the womb is his reward. Okay. Psalms 127, verse 3. Okay, so kneel down and pray. Because as much as we may want children, it's not all the people that are able to bear. Sometimes God, the cases which are recorded in the statutory laws, especially in the what is this? In Leviticus, God was to make people barren. Like for instance, if you are the second wife or incest, you've read those, huh? Where a person, when you commit incest, God will bury your womb. What? Oh, I read those my references. You remember them? Okay, so we'll read them so that you see that the fruit of the womb is his reward. Lord, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. That's what you have to understand. So let us pray for this. Our Father, which art in heaven, we thank you for the gift of life today, and you having given us this privilege to discuss pregnancy today / midwifery, O Lord. And O Jesus Christ of Nazareth, this prayer thought that you've given us, there are many people who want children, whom, O Lord, you have closed the womb. You have made them barren because of the sins that they committed. O Jesus Christ of Nazareth, may you reason with them because you said, when you are obedient and faithful, you shall eat the good of the land. May you also try to open their womb. Make them, O Lord, to be fruitful, so that they may teach the children in the fear and admonition of the Lord. In the name of Jesus, we do pray with thanksgiving in our hearts. Amen. Amen. Let me just check the same verse that I promised. Okay. This is Leviticus what? Probably. Okay. So we're going to read it later. I was just looking for some other verses, but let me just concentrate on this one. I'll give you those verses later. Let me just concentrate on this. We're looking at pregnancy and the childbirth in the Bible. Pregnancy and childbirth in the Bible. The prayer thought was Psalms 127, verse 3, saying that, Lord, children are a heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. What do you make of this reading? It says, children are an heritage of the Lord. What is the meaning of heritage? What is the meaning of heritage? It says, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. What is the meaning of this phrase or clause? That children are a heritage of the Lord? Yes, yes. Yes, Angom. Okay. What do you make of this one, Wapiri? Children are a heritage of the Lord, or an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. What do you make of this reading?
In simple terms, it is just that children are a blessing of the Lord, and that those that the Lord blesses you with, they become what we call maybe servants of the Most High, because He has given you for the purpose and for a reason. I'm sure when we go through those children who were born after their parents requested of God, you'll be able to see how precious and good they were, both to God and to humanity. I think, in a nutshell, those that God gives us as a reward, they are children that are indeed a heritage, because even what they live in this earth is something that could be for the future generation. Thank you.
What about others? What do you make of this reading? Huh? Children are an heritage of the Lord. So, Mudara, if your parents, okay, let me say, you are all your children an heritage of the Lord.
That is a good question.
Hey, you see, it says because ikamati children are an heritage of the Lord. Okay, that's the reason he does what? He blesses you with a womb that is going to bear children. Says he, for what? For the fruit of the womb is his reward. The child is the reward. So now, no, that was just a rhetorical question. I didn't want you to, it's a rhetorical question. I want us to understand what this means, because it says children are a what? A heritage of the Lord, meaning that if we are bearing children that will not serve God, or God is not going to use them, okay, to possess them, because that's God has to possess your children. They're not going to be inherited by God, your children, meaning that God will have reasons to close your womb to make you barren. Number two is that you have children that will be vagabonds, that will not be beneficial to the society. Because this verse tells you, saying that children are an heritage of the Lord, meaning that these children, they have to be inherited by God. Okay? They have to have God in them. And if you just bear children without God in them, it means that you are working for the devil, or you are bringing more harm to this world than good. You are the sole purpose of why salvation has taken so long time. Okay, and you are the reason to why you are making people to preach more and more time and again. If you raise children without Christianizing them, you know the reason to why salvation has taken so long a time, according to the prediction by God, is because people are just bearing children. They are not considering this verse. And it takes you, Babanarula, to come and preach to that person, to convert that person to become a Christian. And once he becomes a Christian, that's when now you've done the work. And again, there are more children. Imagine there are more children that are being born every day that do not even know anything. That children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. Most of them, they don't know this verse. They just have children, a lot of children. It takes a few. Remember, salvation. There are just a few people that have been given this work to preach to these same people. There are just few people that have the truth today. So you've seen how big this verse is. So understanding that, we have to understand first pregnancy. Number two, we have to understand childbirth, because that's where it begins from. I liked Peter Singer. Last night I was listening to Peter Singer. He thought saying, when he wrote a book, Animal Liberation, he thought saying, he's a philosopher, he thought saying, by making the people aware of the cruelty of killing animals, he thought he would make them change. But he did not realize that that wasn't enough. People, they need alternatives. Okay? They need tangible things, tangible alternatives, not theoretical alternatives. Tangible. Information is not enough. Okay? So people, they can know that this is bad, but if there are no tangible solutions, they will not amend. They will not do it. Wazafitenga chabe mumutu, brain, per subconscious, per conscious chabe vakala, but in subconscious, because they are not tangible. They are just aware, but doing, there's no solution. Okay? So if we learn this information, the information of pregnancy and childbirth, tizafitenga chabe pa conscious, yatinga pa conscious, then manje, if we're not doing them, they will just stay there pa conscious, then again they'll be seared one day and forget about them. That's how, because they are not tangible, there are no tangible solutions pertaining to this. And all the children that will be bearing, they will not be productive children. They will not. So pregnancy, according to science, says pregnancy is also known as gestation. I think you've heard of gestation diabetes. That is it's another term for pregnancy. Diabetes. There are people who, like for instance, when you are pregnant, then you have diabetes. It's called gestational diabetes. Diabetes in pregnancy, then you can have a child. You can impart that diabetes to a child. Okay. Is the timing during which one or more offspring develops inside a woman's womb. It is a time during which one or more offspring. The reason why we say one or more offspring is because sometimes people, they have what you call twins. Others, they have more than two. Right? Okay, they have more than two. But according to the way God created the womb, we should not have more than one. Understand? We should not have more than one child develop into the womb. Just like any other animals, the animals that can have more than one child in the womb, they are carnivorous animals, like dogs, cats. They have more than one child. So if we have two children in the womb called twins, then there are more risks compared to one child in the womb. If we have more than 2, 3, there are more risks compared to just today. One child in the womb, there is risk. I remember one child in the womb is risky today. Then imagine there are 2 now. Okay. So the way God created the womb of a woman, it's a one child in the womb. But you know, they are there in the Bible where we saw twins in the Bible. We're not refuting that. But other people who debate, they will say now, was the first child of Adam, were they twins? Or before sin, were they twins? Or, sorry, the first children before sin. Because we know that before sin, Adam did not have a child, right? Okay. Until when they began to have twins. So multiple pregnancy involves more than one offspring, such as with twins, pregnancy, okay, such as with twins. Pregnancy usually occurs by sexual intercourse when sperm is ejaculated into the vagina. That's pregnancy, that's how it does. And there has to be a what? A developed egg, a matured egg, which we call ova, and a what do you call? Spermatozoa plus ova. We know sperm is a seed. That's the reason when God mentioned in Genesis says the fruit, a woman will have a seed. A woman will have a seed. That in itself, when you read in prophecy, it was compacted. There's no way a woman can have a seed. You understand that? Because that phrase also occurs to Abraham. You know, Abraham says, he come a bunch, but yeah, your seed shall what? Pari Abraham, that same phrase. It's also the repetition in Galatians about the seed. In Galatians chapter 5, verse 27. Eh? Yes. Remember that seed. But in Genesis, it says the woman shall have a seed, meaning it's not possible for a woman to have a seed. The seed sperm comes from a man. That's the reason that verse was predicting that a woman will not have sexual intercourse, but will have a seed without sexual intercourse. Jesus Christ came. Mary was pregnant. She was virgin. She did not have sexual intercourse. Then she had a child. Okay, she was found with pregnancy. That is what that verse was talking about. Okay, so it takes the sperm, a seed, to be ejaculated into the vagina. Okay, the ground or in the sanctuary. Then then the egg has to drop. They have to meet the sperm, the seed, it has to meet with an egg. And these ones again, today sons, I don't know, they've gone beyond. They can use this, they can assist this also. What they call artificial insemination. They can do this. So sometimes pregnancy may end in a live baby. Sometimes they can lead into miscarriage. You understand? There are miscarriages that we've seen. Also, they can induce what you call abortion or stillbirth. You understand? So then now, miscarriages. Today, miscarriages, we have a lot of abortions and miscarriages today. People, they are what you call, they are, whether in marriage or not, they're becoming pregnant and they do what you call abortions, which we're going to discuss later, abortions. But childbirth typically occurs around 40 weeks from the start of the last menstrual period. From the start, that's how you calculate. LMP, from the start of the last menstrual period, you calculate, then it should be 40 what? 40 weeks. Nishimanye mwana zache chane. Akapitilira beyond this, nishankalisa mwana. So bamabala bana from 38 weeks to 40 weeks. Angabale, mukazi angabale from that period 38 to 40 weeks. Abala. Especially a girl child, amabado. Okay. A girl child. I do not know why a girl child, but what I know is that the spirit of prophecy has told us saying that a girl child matures first than a boy child. So maybe that is the reason to why a girl child, what you call angabadwe, mo 38 weeks. It takes time, it takes more time, even in school. A boy child, spirit of prophecy, it states saying that mufuna kuambisa boy child at the age of 10 school. Girl child mungamuyambise pa age ya chani ya 8. There's a difference. Maybe wa psychologist must explain the difference. Why is it important? Actually, the government, they are not emphasizing that. A child, my years, a girl child should start school different compared to a boy child. Aye. A boy child, or even development or maturity. The road also states saying the time for a man to marry a woman versus when a woman should be married is totally different. My years. A man can marry at 21, but a woman cannot marry below 21, according to the road. Okay. A woman, she can get married below 21. At 18 to 18 and above, a woman, she can be married. It's the maturity. I think that's what I know. The other reasons. Okay. So an embryo is the term for the developing offspring during the first 8 weeks following fertilization. An embryo. So an embryo development takes how many? 8 weeks. Okay. Or other 10 weeks gestational age. You can mute yourself, brother. Who is this one? Okay. After which the term fetus is used until birth. After which the term fetus is used until birth. So the symptoms and signs of early pregnancy may include missed periods. The first thing that you're going to see is missed period. So then now it will make you begin to count. Okay, you begin to make you count from the last menstrual period. It should last 40 days, 40 weeks for pregnancy, for delivery to happen. Symptoms, we see signs and symptoms. We see missed periods, tender breasts, morning sickness, nausea and vomiting. Then you see sometimes hunger and frequent urination. So you would maybe put this as cravings. Many, because of something is developing in the womb, there's pressure on the bladder, then there's frequent urination. Pregnancy may be confirmed with a pregnancy test. There are those pregnancy test. Okay, pregnancy test, or you do ultrasound scan. In the pregnancy test, there's what you call is it EC? They call it what? HG, human. They call it what? Human what? Sister Chimuga. It's what? Human chronic what? Gonadotropin. Okay, it's HG or HG what? HGC. Okay, HGC. Human chronic gonadotropin. That hormone, it is excess. It is very excess in your blood. That is a pregnant test. Pregnant test, it will pima the same one. It will pima the levels of gonadotropin in your blood. It elevates in your blood. When a person is pregnant, it elevates. Okay, so once they do the test, then the HCG, it has increased. It means that a person is pregnant. That's what it means. Let me just confirm the term. I think it's the same. Okay. That is basically what it does, that machine. I mean, a pregnant test. Other names, gestation, and other things. Okay. Then the specialty of this thing, or those that help to deliver babies, they are called midwifery. Or what? Opticians. Optics people. Symptoms: missed periods, tender breast, nausea, vomiting, hunger, frequent urination. Complications: miscarriage, high blood pressure of pregnancy, gestational diabetes, iron deficiency, anemia, which is anemia, severe nausea, and vomiting. These are complications in pregnancy. And the duration should be of pregnancy should be 40 weeks. I hope you've gotten this one. Symptoms: missed periods, tender breast, nausea, vomiting, hunger, and frequent urination. Complications: miscarriage. You know, miscarriage, you have to see when you have a wife, then she's pregnant, you have to observe the first 3 months. First 3 months, miscarriages are high. Miscarriage can be caused when a person mumu kalipira kuyopa kuma causing futi miscarriage. Kuri threatened abortions, you know, threatened abortions. Muntu amuyopa mimba yatoka. Stress. So there are a lot of factors that can cause abortions. Ndabache mimba mwana mukazi wanga inachoka. Again, there are medicines, contraindications of the medicines, which you should avoid. Excessive taking of yamenetezo kudya popo, muntu anavumo, ana mimba, mumje sapopo. Okay, akudya pineapple, muntu anavumo. Kulibe, it can cause what you call miscarriages. Too much vitamin C can cause miscarriage in pregnancy. And in case you see blood, you can call someone that is a what? Who understands? A naturopathic doctor or a physician so that they help you to prevent a miscarriage. In my case, in herbology, once a person sees blood, we stop it by using Monkwara HCF. They can stop the miscarriage very fast. Okay. Hospital, they can cause maybe others, I don't know what method, but they can, if there are no threats, if a child is what you call 38 weeks or 36 weeks, they can induce labor. Okay, they can induce labor. But if it's less than that, then there's a threat. They can make you to have a miscarriage. So the causes of pregnancy is sexual intercourse. That is the causes of pregnancy. By sperm being integrated inside the vagina, assisted reproductive technology also can cause. Okay, that is artificial insemination. Then diagnostic method, we can use a pregnant test. Prevention, birth control, others they use birth or abstinence. We learned the what you call family planning, eh? Okay, how to avoid pregnancy. So the treatment at the hospital, they use different. They can use what you call prenatal care and abortion. But that is not advised by our religion and the Bible. Abortion. But we've learned you can cause abortion by yourself by the food that you are eating. You understand? Or the herb. You do not know, you don't understand the herbs you can take. For instance, Bukuma Neem Maning. Neem is an emenagugu. Emenagugu meaning it causes menstruation. Then you are pregnant. You'll be what? You cause miscarriage. So there are those things to understand. So medication during pregnancy depends with what, but oftentimes people they lack iron. They lack iron, vitamin C for easy absorption of iron, and they lack B12, oxygen as well. Okay, so we advise people when they are pregnant, they should take molasses. They will avoid taking folic acid and ferrous. Folic acid is a byproduct of folate of leaves, spinach ya manager, or my leaves, byproduct of spinach, my leaves is folic acid. So if you're taking folic acid, you are eating meat, in short. If you are taking ferrous in iron, it's a byproduct. If you are eating again meat, it's the same. Meat combined with chemicals. Okay, so that's the reason in lifestyle medicine, we advise people to take molasses, to take spinach, a lot of spinach. You take beetroot. A person will not experience any of these deficiencies. Okay, during pregnancy. That's the reason today, than ever before, there's a high market of Vijava blood, hemophosis, hemap, all those things. It's because of how people eat. And again, because of pregnancy. In pregnancy, people, how they eat, they have less iron, less oxygen, less copper, less vitamin C. And kuvimba mendo. Hi, kuvimba mendo. Food. So I'll not state how many people die, but today we've received that there are many people who undergo not normal delivery. Statistics. We see that others they go normal delivery, others not normal delivery. Okay. Cesarean section, yeah, back. Plus, again, if it's not cesarean, normal delivery, kumankara tibangambika, watunga. Oroba ijuwa kaperenia mai, wajuwa kaja. Kujuwa kutuwa to extend the way, the passage of the child. There are a lot of things that have happened. Today, what is happening in the midwifery room, which they've brought about. It's rare now a person who can come out of that room without kumutunga, without a stitch. It's rare. Most of the pregnancies, he did normal delivery, but okay, and they will consider that as normal delivery, but yet pass through what you call operation. Okay, introduction and concepts of midwifery and obstetrical nursing. Obstetrics word came from a Latin word obstetrics means midwife. So now we're learning midwife. Midwifery is known as is the knowledge necessary to perform the duties of a midwife. So let us look at this in the Bible, midwifery. Okay. Midwifery in the Bible and spirit of prophecy. Psalm 71 verse 5 to 6. The first midwife, Psalm 71 verse 5 and 6, it says, "For thou art my hope, O Lord God, thou art my trust from my youth. By thee have I been holden up from the womb. Thou art he that took me out of my mother's bowels, my mother's bowels. My praise shall be continually of thee." So according to this here, the psalmist says that God is the one that held him up from the womb. Is the one that got him out of the womb. So we see that God is the first midwifer. God is the first midwife. Okay, that is our first. So the first thing that we have to pray for is for us to have a child. Is first God who blesses, who opens the womb. God is the one that is going to help you deliver properly. Is God. Those people who've passed through this, they know how it feels. Okay. So mama kama jabati ni mulungu. That's what they say. Olo midwifery watandizo wakama jabati ni chana ni mulungu. Ni mulungu. Because there is the issue of life and death. Or giving birth today is considered as facing death right in the eye. You begin now to look to just face death a bit. Look at it in the eye, right in the eye. Then the people that deliver successfully, whilst you are there, you are next. You even feel jealous of the people that are coming with a child. Others, what happens is that we discover that others, by Ndakuja, they come back without a child. Or they lose either the mother or the child. That's what happens today. That's the reason God, we should just say God, because God is the one that held us up in the womb, is the one that got us up out of our mother's bowels. That is the psalmist. Women to be midwife, not men. That's the reason it is very important. I emphasize it is very important to learn this, because the spirit of prophecy has outlined. Look at today. Today, a man can enter their hands into your wife. Your wife's vagina today. Is it not true? Okay. They play with your wife. They have seen the nakedness of your wife. Yet there is law of nakedness in the Bible. It says whoever sees the nakedness of the other. Remember, there's a law of nakedness. But today, people, they can see the nakedness of your wife. You are comfortable. We are comfortable because we do not have what? Tangible solutions. We know, we have the knowledge. Someone can see the nakedness of your wife. I like my cousin, she works at a city in what? Indian. So the Indians, what they have their own clinics. I don't know if they're hospitals. The Indians, them, a woman is the one that is going to hand over matter. The one they, because of their religion, handles the female cases. Then a man will handle male cases. Cases that needs to do, like if I'm a circumcision, you know, those things that will require privacy. Females, they handle cases like I'm a midwife, voice of machane, catheter, urinary bag. But today, I don't know what has happened. There's no such policy or morals in the government today. Cancel here. This is 13 manuscript releases, page 114, paragraph 2. 13 manuscript releases, page 114, paragraph 2. It states as follows, but I have felt recently now that you are about to make some moves here, that it is time that I should bring these things out, that it should be so arranged that the woman who have greater responsibilities, it is their privilege to be educated just as thoroughly as the men are educated. In some lines of work, in Bible times, the women always took charge of the women. This is Ellen White. The women in Bible times, 114 paragraph 2 of 13 manuscript releases. In Bible times, the women always took charge of the women, and the Lord worked with them. I want to say there are many temptations presented to me by individuals that I have who kept my own counsel. I have not said anything, but it has been sins brought in by this commonness and the temptations that come in. Now I know of some that have been tempted over matters. I know the women for myself. I know the women are clear and they are not to be censured. Only in one point, and that it is to take their stand of propriety and not to mix and mingle right together, and the men and the women taking charge. So she tells you, you remember that in the Bible, the reason to why God blessed the midwife, you know there are midwives in the Bible. But wana barisa Moses. It's not midwife. No midwife. You remember that there was an order saying you should kill what? Then there were females. That's the reason God blessed them. That did not participate in the killing of the Hebrew males. They did not kill. There was an order by Pharaoh to kill the male children. What happened? The midwives, they did not kill. They kept the charge of God. They reserved the children. Among them was Moses, who was reserved by the Lord through the midwives who followed the counsel of God. And God blessed them. So we see in the Bible, Ellen White states saying that the women took charge of women. Paragraph 2, paragraph 113, paragraph 2, it says 13 manuscript releases, 113, paragraph 2. He says as follows, says, the time has come now when there are to be, and there should have been long ago, sensible changes. The time has come now, and when there are to be, and there should have been long ago, sensible changes. Men have their appointment to take care of the men. Men have their appointment to take care of the men, and women are to take care of the women. But when it comes to bringing the men and women together in private practices of childbirth, and in such cases to have them associated right together, I should say it is not right nor to be justified. Understand? He said it's not right nor to be justified. Yes, but we try to justify this. You understand? Women had their appointed work in the Bible times, and these women took charge of the women. And there was a special understanding that, and there was a special understanding that was the way it should be, and that it is the way it should be now in childbirth. Let the women be as thoroughly trained as the men, and let them take charge of these matters. I speak intelligently. I speak because I understand what I'm speaking about, that there is too great a commonness. This charge is by counsel. Says it's not right. It's not what is this? What is the term used here? This cannot be justified. It's not justifiable to put men to be in charge of midwife. It is not justifiable. Or if we have our brethren who want to be midwife, then when the midwife they are men doing midwife. It's not justifiable. It is not. Hey. Oh. Okay. Even the name is a rebuke. Name ni mwamuna afunika huko. Sorry, ni mkazi afunika huko. Then ni mwamuna, then you are a midwife. How? I want to say midwife, hauna mwamuna. Okay. Okay. Now this is the 13 manuscript releases, page 114, paragraph 1. It says, now the Lord would have us pursue a course that could be an example to others. We are right in the last days. The women should take charge of the women, and the men take charge of the men whenever they are sick and privately sick. Do not in such cases mix up men and women. See that you remove temptations. I cannot tell you how many have come to me with their complaints and wanted me to heal these difficulties, but I felt as though I was not prepared to do it. But recently, the light has come to me that too great commonness has been practiced. It must be that the women will take charge of the women, and the men take charge of the men. Of course, there are some things in which they have to mingle. Okay, of course, there are some things in which they have to mingle. Women will have to do some things, but it is too great commonness that has been brought in, and this has been brought before me several times. But I felt as though I could not rein myself up to touch the point. Okay. So you understand what she tells you. That's the reason she says she's speaking intelligently. This is not saying that it's a vision. That she's not using what? She just, no. Says she's speaking intelligently. Until God showed her that these things should not be the way they were practiced. Daughters, is it daughters of God? Abbreviated as DJ. I mean DG. DG is what? Daughters of what? Huh? Sons and daughters of God, right? Or daughters of God. Okay. DG 98 paragraph 1, it says as follows. It says midwives to take responsibility. Midwife to take responsibility. Okay. It reads as follows. I have written to you, this is 98 paragraph 1. I have written to you the instruction that has been given me regarding the special work to be done by the lady physicians in our sanitariums. It is the Lord's plan that men should be trained to treat men and women trained to treat women. In the confinement of women, midwives should take the responsibility of the case. In Bible times, it was not considered a proper thing for men to act in this capacity. And it is not the will of God that men should do this work today. Very much evil has resulted from the practice of men treating women and women treating men. It is a practice according to human devising and not according to God's plan. Long has the evil been left to grow, but now we lift our voice in protest against that which is displeasing to God. So if we keep on to agitate the evil to grow, we'll keep quiet. But we have to discontinue this evil. We have to discontinue this evil that is universally, worldwide. This evil is practiced everywhere. Okay. Mwamvera Sister Chimoka, ivi vintu vodabwisa maningi vichitika konse. It's now a norm. Women now, they feel they can open their legs anyhow to a male physician today. They open their legs anyhow to a male physician today. It's now a norm. So unless you want to learn this midwifery, you are a male person, you want to deliver your wife, unless, you understand? You can help because you know the nakedness of your wife, you know, so you can help her. For instance, who helped in the delivery of Jesus Christ? Who delivered Jesus Christ? Who helped? Who? There's no midwifery. Who helped Jesus to be delivered? It is Joseph. It was Joseph and Mary. Because even when those people with gifts they came, hey, Jesus, he was taken into a manger. He was not born into a manger. He was taken into the manger after a birth. Manja today, it's a crime. Wapiri wamvera ine nabalisa. Oro my brethren wakamba ya. Anagwa. Anagwa maningi. Nafika patani. Yes, Mdara. Mdara wa ima kwanza. Wa Sister Olivia. Yes, Sister Olivia.
Nifunze
Sankone ya Sister Zan Chimuka.
hivi Muma Hospital, it's not like women have a choice to choose amena sawa badisa. So maongatike bwanji.
Maona ndiye vuto hiyo manje. Kairi imwe ni semse mwenda ku foreign land. Mapolisi na maruzi yachi bakamba kuti aliyense abalisa as long as is on duty. Maona. So kulibe venanga chite. Bakazi chabe nkusegula mendo chabe. Kulibe. So solution manje ni kuchita zanisi. There's an order saying that we should have midwives amongst ourselves, us, when we're making the camp. Midwives are necessary, okay? They are needed actually, so that we should avoid the shame, the embarrassment that we undergo by taking our women in the hospital and be seen by other men. That is the only solution that we should have. Hello, have I answered the question?
Oh, okay. No, okay,
Yes.
Van Beek, I thought that maybe even outside the camp,
No.
like you. Oh, okay, Van
As
Beek.
we do not have the law, you remember that the government, they are governed by their policies also. I gave the example of the Indians. Indians, they have private what you call hospitals. That they have these policies instituted. You understand? These policies that they've instituted, they are practicing them. But as we're just talking up here now, we will talk and yet we will do the opposite. So we should put these things into practicality by also, since we're in a democratic nations, they have a provision to open. Today, we have in Lusaka, we have Coptic private big hospital today. They have their own policies, you know that. They have their own constitution, those ones. Their own constitution. They follow their own constitution. They don't follow the UTH constitution. They follow theirs. Also, us, just like the time of Ellen White, they had also their, we call them sanitariums. Ellen White, she refused to call those. She says the sanitariums. They had midwives, they had nurses, they had physicians. That is in the Leviticus. You saw that. Okay. And all this should be followed to the latter according to the light given us by God. Okay, here you can now speak, sister.
Okay, nalandazi kamucheza nalandazi every it's like every Sabbath that we are meeting. Yeah, there are a lot of new things that are coming, and we are seeing that actually we've lived contrary to the plan of God, how God had desired us to be. There are so many things that the world has taught us, and we've taken that as just the normal thing as a way of life. But we have actually laid that inspiration has in everything. So the problem comes in from where? The church. We've been converted to the world. We've taken to the customs of the world, and we've failed to live according to what God has put in place, according to these precepts. Yes, we've seen and we've read, even on news, even in villages, there are places where they don't have clinics, right? There's just like a certain woman will take up the role as a midwife and they'll deliver. And then again, sometimes you find that maybe a delivery can be taking place. But again, they are told to take that
So to the hospital.
And yeah, because of certain complications and I know medications. And then, as we've been given this mandate by God that this is what is supposed to be done, because along the way we have drifted. So for me, I feel strongly that it's a thing that can be done if we only cooperate with what God is telling us. Why am I saying so? Because today, if we say, okay, let's go to UTH, labor wards, you find that even other wards, find that people they are complaining, they know they've got BP, no, they were supposed to give leg to me to they were supposed to what's this to labor, to give a child, bear a child, yeah. Then you find that they have so many complications. And so we see that where does this begin from? This begins from the lifestyle, the diety, the time that they are pregnant until the time that they deliver. Like in this modern world, we can say a lot of women, they'll say they want chicken and chips. Even the last time we were talking about the food, we're saying that they say that the child controls what they are supposed to be eating, right? Mm-hmm. So you find that that also becomes a problem. As we already mentioned to say that they like iron, huh? Mm-hmm. So they're supposed to be taking a lot of iron, avocados, and many other foods that help in their pregnancy. So if from inception, the diet has been okay, even delivering will not be a problem. So in that, those that will be trained to be midwife will not have a challenge in delivering, such that even a husband can deliver, because from the beginning up to the time of giving birth, there's been that good and consistent of helping in that pregnancy. For example, what's this? Mulberry. Raspberry or mulberry?
Raspberry.
The leaves.
The raspberry leaves helps in deliver.
Take them for 3 months before the date for delivery. Then delivery will be okay, and many other things that can help.
Olivia, now today what they are doing is this. Because at the hospital, we see people, they are due, like they are due. So kuliva bino mawapasako kuti babale msanga manje kuja wali kusogolo kuja wakamati kapena mwa vintu kuno sijakulekererana. They threaten what the hospital people they are doing now. They are threatening people to say not to kumwa tizakulekererana. So others bajauda batu ebamba kumankala tibenangu wafika chape bangala jabati 2 hours 3 hours wacho abara but then now instead of the hospital people, the midwives or nurses feeling happy. That's what they say. Instead of them having a keen interest to find out, saying, what did you take so that we'll be helping? We'll be helping others so that they will shorten time. Okay? They don't do that. They don't have that interest. Okay? They don't. So even the raspberry, the one I'm talking about, raspberry is very good. Once a person is due, afuna pap, one pass arm, and other balam sang. But at the hospital, they will look at it with what? With suspicion. They do not want that. Okay? That's what is happening. You can continue this story.
Yeah. So I think the reason why they act like that is because you know these hospitals, because that there's the evil stuff. Huh? Yeah. So I'm sure maybe they are in a way of maybe wanting to be losing many lives. That's why they would discourage. Because I remember at one time a certain what they would say, why is it that nowadays maybe somebody just have one kid? I mean, yeah, but they have a lot of complications with giving birth. But unlike in the olden days, when people would have 18 children, 13, 10, continuously without, that kind of thing. And here now that we even have what's this, family planning, but and yet there are these other complications. So for me, I'm thanking God for these lessons that are coming, because they are giving us indicators and showing us that indeed it can be possible and it can be done, and in a way that as the health reformers, medical missionaries, we know what to eat and what to do, and there can never be much complications as maybe as to how the hospital is experiencing. And then there's also one of the person that I knew where when operated on, they had to also to go through the intestines, and that's how the person died. And so a lot of people have been lost through cesarean. So the best is if we can just have people trained as maybe some people trained, we can be trained, because God is giving us a challenge and He's employing us. So we have to start having interest.
Thank you. So you see now the challenge. This challenge is very big. Huh? It's very big. And this is to us. Because the world, they cannot take up this responsibility. They will keep on doing the same way. Because that's what they know. That's where they are specialized in. And you know the specialty, you cannot be specialized in the things that you do not know. Victor Tashout TV says logic without knowledge is what? Illogical. You do not know. So we have to know. First, once we know, then we can now begin to do. Okay. Because there are a lot of things. Are they? Oh, Brother Peter. Yes.
Anyway, no, I didn't have anything to say except the comment that touched me is what Brother Keagan mentioned about our parents. Okay, they were geniuses in childbirth. Yeah, we were. If you were like 4 or 5 in a family, your father was looked down upon to say he wasn't a man. I am sure you understand. Those that were born in our generation, you find that a family will be 10 to 13, it's 1 month. And this issue of child spacing, it was rarely conducted. You find that with them, the age difference will be a year and a half, a year and a half, and all of them, they grew. And they knew when to stop breastfeeding. Yeah, so this goes to show that somehow the nurses and doctors of today, they are working under instructions that they should be able to help with the population growth. So it could be that they have become our silent killers, because they can't tell you that we want to eliminate such and such number of children. I say this because of what I witnessed when my young brother, just a few weeks, now almost a month ago, you remember the child was born earlier than normal. She was born at 6 months. Beloved, these guys, when you meet these nurses, when you meet them in white uniforms, you think that they are dedicated to duty. The white is beautiful, but the hearts in those uniforms is poison. Beloved, small babies, you know those premature, they are dying, and they feed through the tube. You find that the tube is out. You tell them, look at this one. And they know that that is what is more like the life energy of that person. They don't care. They don't care. We almost lost that our child because of negligence. Many a time you find that the tube is out and the child started growing feeble. Then when you complain, say, now look, how is it that you are seeing this? You are told in the morning, you said you do it. So what saved the baby, I want to be honest, is when we pleaded with the institutions. Actually, one child died, and all the mothers complained that care is not given to the children because the mothers were only given 30 minutes to breastfeed and leave. You understand? And the rest was the work of the nurses. But the nurses were doing nothing. So when that other child, unfortunately, I'm reporting that death, that is when they feared, and then they started allowing the mothers to be in. That is how the child now started to get, you know, the skin of a child, because it wasn't eating, became like that of an 80-year-old person. Yes, because she was only, because, you know, when they are premature, they can't like go direct and breastfeed. They don't know that. So it is through the pipe that they just insert the milk in there, the right amount. Even when you leave the right amount, you find that the milk is still there, the baby has not been given. And then these people are saying they are waiting and drawing a salad. So that is how somehow I'm feeling like, I don't know whether they have been taught or they are being taught to silently kill. I don't know what is going on. Thank you.
So you've seen there are a lot of expressions. That's why when we check on the media again, there are a lot of expressions, reports we see they do not bring about. Okay, a lot of them. Because this information, like the other one, also on the what is this? Vaccines. You cannot upload even on YouTube. If you upload on YouTube, what are they going to do? They'll suspend or ban it. They'll not put. Because once once you upload, then they hear what we're talking about. What are they going to do? They'll not upload. They don't upload. That's what they do. So I doubt if this one, if they try to upload on YouTube, if it is clear and audible, if they are going to upload. Okay? That's what is happening in the world today. Uh, 13 manuscript releases, page 116, paragraph 1. It, 116, paragraph 1, it says, avoid temptation. I have had this before me time and time again. I have put it in writing for fear I might be taken away. But I want to say that we must step up onto a higher plane of action. And if we will do this, the Lord will let his blessing rest upon us. That is the fear that we fear. I have had so many letters from women and from men about their falling right under the temptations of the devil as they were brought in connection with the childbirth of women. I do not need to argue this because your own sense will tell you that we are in a world of temptation and trial, and we are to purify ourselves from every such thing. God help us. You have no need to have me dwell upon this any longer. The light given me is that we open the door to temptation for transgression. Let us have just as much a duty to take the burden that rests upon the women for the women in childbirth as it is possible for us to do. This is the right as it is presented to me. Okay, this is
in that respect, there was a time that because the clinics, or should I say health facilities were few, in communities like where my grandmother was in Kitwe, Kamfinsa area, they just trained women. They were, every time the women that are like almost due, they knew where to go. And all they would do was just to buy a chitenge material, a wrapper for the midwife. And they were helping communities. But suddenly, the government came in and tried to make it like a serious crime. That no, you have now health institutions, so you should go to the health institutions. But when you look at the children that were born through these midwifery that were within the local communities, healthy and everything okay, no complications whatsoever. But immediately, bearing of children went to the institutions. A lot of complications, like Brother Keagan was saying, came in. Because with those local ones, beloved, trust me, like the first things that Brother Keagan talked about, where you are talking of cutting somebody, just to doing this, that, those never used to do those things. Just like he's saying, they knew some of the quickest possible ways of helping somebody, or to induce labor through medication, like the same we have talked about, the simple ones. They would help with those ones. No complications whatsoever. But somebody who is about to give normal delivery, they say, no, this one just needs a seizure. Even where it is not necessary, they will even push for it. I don't know what they are looking for. Whether is it because our institutions are called the university teaching hospital, so people want to know what it means to do a cesarean section on somebody, or what? Because most of the things they are demanding, that which can even be, can happen normal. I don't know what is going on really. So we see that for Sister White now to come out the way she did here, it is showing that we are actually perpetuating temptations. And now we have moved from temptation, because we are living with it, it is a normal thing. And so we are not surprised where we see people complaining that, oh, that doctor now is moving out with my wife, what. This, because we see that where it is starting from is that build of relationship. Because like you said, your wife should be yours. Huh? And then somebody else, when he proposes, your wife will feel, say, after all, he's seen everything. You understand? So at the end of the day, many do not give themselves in just because of the love of it, but they feel like whether I refuse or I do what, it's the same thing. He will still, what if I come, he's the one who's going to see me? Maybe I will die in labor. You understand? So we are selling ourselves. Yeah. So these are some of the very important things. So here it says, let us have just as much a duty to take the burden that rests upon the women, for the women in childbirth, as it is possible for us to do. So it is possible for women to do. It is just that they make it hard, as if you need to be trained. Now you have seen that in almost every field, the devil is trying to show that unless you are trained, unless you have a paper, you can't do anything. Soon we'll see even these that are doing the welding in garden being made with the law. I'm telling you. Because today, somebody may just wake up and form an association. Then they say, all those that are not coming through me are illegal. Somebody will be seated in office and making money, and yet is not even trained as a metal fabricator. What does he do? He just forms an organization. He says, government, if anyone is not passing through this organization, then, so nurses, you find that they go through an association. Teachers, an association. Accountants, an association. Now you saw even this, what do you call this, that are into building and stuff? What do you call it? No. Yeah? No, not bricklayers. Engineers. Yeah, now you have Engineering Association of Zambia. So if you don't pass through this, you can't be an engineer. And now, to show the relevance, they just add the name, Engineer Keagan Banda before your name. Engineer this, engineer that, so that they say he's a recognized engineer and he can be hired by anyone. But look at the work that those qualified ones do versus those unqualified. They're unqualified because they do it by, like you say, experience. They see what is needed and they work around the thing, says, this is not strong. But somebody says, this is what I studied. You understand? So this is basically what I see. For Sister White now to say that we should revert to primitive godliness. This is one of the way. Because we need to have our women trained. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Mnarula. So that's how it is. Because now there's what they've brought about, what you call registration. If you swanabadile kuja, mwana wako sanabadile kuja, will not be registered. And again, they are putting other, because I was listening to it recently, where it says if a child is not registered, meaning that they will suspect that maybe your child will be will be used by Satanists or by Masons, because it's not registered, it's not known by the government. Okay, so these are the ones that Satanists use. So they threaten you, say they are used. Those that are not registered, they are used by what? By Masons, Satanists. That's what they say now. So unregistered people, they are used by terrorists. That's what they were again be putting. There is okay, tabari savana ise. Then mana Yesu ana badwe. Mwazi wa materialists. And again, the same terrorists will be agitating saying do not join the Confederate. More, they are the same ones. These ones are not registered. They will ask, okay, where are they? Where are they? Are they registered in the government? No, they are not there. That's what they will do. Okay. So if we take up this information seriously, we will see how it will go. But God has put a blessing in this. That's what we read. Eh? God has put a blessing in this. There's no failure. I know a lot of people that have taken up this work. They don't fail. Or even though ijaoma kama postpartum chan hypertension, ijawa your budget when your BP, your blood pressure has increased during pregnancy, you should do C-section because that's the only method they know. How should you do? Very easy. With easy. But if I can go BP, no. Let me see a bar. They were supposed to bar. A bar. But go just say open. BP. Take a bit to Jew. Okay. A bar is it. And even the positioning of childbirth. Very pa table. A table when we car. Why a table? Then they will neglect you. Maybe there's only one or two patients. Then you know, involuntary pressure that happens there when dilation. You are few people in that, and the person who is delivering the child is told to hold, because again cannot push because there's no one to help with the pushing. What happens? The longer the child stays there, the pressure, okay, the more the child will lose oxygen, the risk of fits. Okay, a lot of people now, children now, they're suffering from what? Fits, kunyo, epilepsy, because of those things, negligence. Like, so you see, again, the positioning. God has laid saying gravity. Okay, gravity should help also in childbirth. Then they put up. What is it? The easy way of the natural way of easing pain in childbirth. Put a pool. You put bathtub bands full. Abalire munja mkati. Could not be bad. They don't have those options in the hospital. But those are very easy methods. Okay, very easy methods where a person can put water without a lot of bathtubs in a big maternity ward or labor ward. Then they just, once a person is done, washa week. Where you delivered from, pazankara blood. Wapinga, you ndo kwera food blood. You are smelling blood of another person. And again, the delivering process is unbearable. Okay, so there are those things which people want to undergo. Okay, so yeah, ama pitamu azimaye ama pitamu. Yes. Once they pass through that pressure, they look at the torment, the negligence, and everything. They will say it's good. They will say now it's good. That's it, because they are discouraging. You know, there are people who are very specialized in childbirth. There was a breach a breach which happened. They were twins. So according to the scan, it was showing that they didn't know that they were twins. So unaona tu mwana apinda mkakudala. So wafuna pena kusoma checking, they don't pay attention. Wazaona chabe your last ultrasound scan. Then were checking waenda kuja. They didn't know that they were twins. Winango achoka mwinango sana pinda muke. Winango apinda muka. Okay? So then now, bachosa oja kansmuru mos, they still now. Then they're saying, okay, from that delivery, they want to take that person for operation, C-section. Then they started now debating among themselves. No. Okay, let us, because this process has already started. So what happened? They were shocked, all of them. They discovered that the person was in a breach. Without any what? Any rupturing, nothing. They are started because according to the notes they have, says a breach you cannot deliver. You have to do is an option for what? For C-section. But the breach you can deliver. So to repeat, we started saying that the due date of pregnancy is from the first day of last period. So most pregnancies last around 40 weeks, that is, or 38 weeks from conception. So typically the best way to estimate your due date is to count 40 weeks or 280 days from the first day of your last menstrual period. That is an emphasis. So the full term of pregnancy should be, it should last 40 weeks. In the past, a baby born anytime between 37 weeks to 42 weeks was considered term. Even today, a pregnancy is now considered full term at 39 weeks. But even today, they consider 37 to 42 weeks. The importance of vernix. Vernix, Kesiosa. Okay. This one, after it's called the Vijava weight, mwana bado nava weight. Ama bado nava weight. Actually, others, ama kama timwana ama bado chivanda. So, kama bado nava weight. So, ama kama a child is born chivanda, sunga muzivi. Until wamukwesha so. Wamukwesha kuti the blood. Wamupukuta wamukwesha. Ndiye manje, azankhala muntu ama bado chintu je. No, that is the vernix kesiosa. There's an importance of this. There's a reason to why God has put this cream. Okay, this cream is very important to prevent the child from having skin problems and immunity. We learned of the what you call microbiota. The natural immune system of the child is the same one. It's found in this. But the problem is that when a child is born from the hospital, azampukuta, azabwera nsharibe, ndio maona ti papita chabe 1 day 2 days ankara marashi, ankara na maja marashi. Akamba it's normal to have a child with marashi. Papita cheka time kangono mwana mukudora kuti matenda pamangalaja 1 week ndo mwana dora chifua pamudora matenda. That's what happens because of this cream that is removed. Okay, says the thick white coating on your newborn baby skin isn't the prettiest, but it offers some surprising benefits to you and your little one. So you should wait to wash it off. You should wait. If you have ever seen a just born baby, you might have noticed that his skin is covered in cheese. It's a white stuff. Yes, in cheesy, white clumps or patches. What is this stuff? And when your little one comes into the world, you should leave it there or clean it off right? I mean, should you leave it there or clean it off right away? It's a question. That strange coating is called the vernix caseosa, and it's actually good for your baby and maybe even you too. Yes, even you too. Because if these guys they knew, see, they say to mama back put wapangako formula ya skin. Here is a look at what the vernix does. Why it is important and why you might want it to leave it on your newborn skin for a little while longer. Okay, what is this vernix caseosa and what does it do? The vernix caseosa is a grease cheese-like coating that covers babies' skin during their time in the womb. It's made up of shed skin cells and subcutaneous or sebaceous secretions. Okay, sorry. Sebaceous excretions, secretions that might sound a little yucky, but the vernix actually serves an important function. It protects your sweet pea's fragile skin from getting pickled by amniotic fluid in utero. Okay. It protects your sweet pea's fragile skin from getting pickled by amniotic fluid in utero. The vernix typically shows up around week 19 of pregnancy and continues to thicken until week 34. The coating starts to slough off into the amniotic fluid itself a few weeks later, and your baby swallows it. Isn't Mother Nature fascinating? By week 40, the vernix is mostly gone. Babies born earlier tend to have more vernix than those born later. If your little one arrives a few weeks before his due date, he might still be well coated. If he is born on time, he might only have a little bit of vernix left in the folds of his skin or under his nails. If he is born late, he might not have any vernix left at all, and his skin might be wrinkled or peeling as a result, but don't worry, it's temporary. What are the benefits of the vernix caseosa? The benefits is the vernix caseosa helps form a barrier between your baby's skin and the surrounding amniotic fluid. Its primary role is to protect and hydrate, kind of like a heavy-duty moisturizer. But it's thought to have other benefits too. During pregnancy, the vernix your baby swallows may also help nourish his developing gut bacteria. Gut bacteria. You know the gut flora. Okay. During labor, the vernix greasy, oily texture could serve as a natural lubricant to minimize friction as your baby makes his way down the birth canal. Also, the passage to move well, it also helps in the lubrication, okay, for the child to move and to make the mother easy push to make the child easily come out. Okay. After delivery, vernix can continue to protect your baby's skin by helping it retain moisture and stave off bacterial infections. Understand? Can continue to protect your baby's skin by helping it retain moisture and stave off bacterial infections. It might help babies latch on too. The scent of vernix might be involved in triggering neural connections in babies' brains needed for breastfeeding, Actually, there's another documentary, when you see, there's another one who is dedicated to discuss this, about the brain development, this, the microbiota, this, and the brain development of a child. Okay. The reason why most of the babies are not developed, they are not developing their brain, and they have a lot of issues to do with mental conditions, is due to this. Because there are others that the babies are born well. I don't know if you've experienced mwana anabadwa chayo bwinobwino badwa bachati ambochita chani ambomwembe kuchita mafitsi or brain ankara na autism, okay, or just something changed about the child, but the child was born well. Okay. I had a case like this one before. So for moms, Venix contains compounds thought to promote perennial wound healing. So it may aid in recovery for vaginal births. So mumazi nati yachapa mutu maona kama mwana badwa vija vikrimu vija seme chamwe tandiza kuti chapa mutu, you know, the fontanelle chapa mutu ama chapa mutu ifati masakiriana munkwala yeti mwana anabadwa nacho anabadwa na vikrimu bavinga mtandize vacha chapa mutu kuti chivalike fast mtenga tabe eneja mwaika paja so olo enzeri napo kudala semomusiya tabe 2 days 1 day ankhala navo vija vichani vivenix. If you leave a child with that venix for 1 year, 2 days, that one will act as his immune booster. The fontanelle, it will close up easily. Do not take time to close up. But because they removed it very fast. Okay. Okay. Should you delay baby's first birth at the hospital? That is a birth. Should you delay baby's first birth at the hospital? That is the question. It's obvious because you've gotten the information. You should delay the baby's first birth. Birthing immediately after birth used to be seen as the best thing for babies. Birthing immediately after birth used to be seen as the best thing for babies. But more and more hospitals are changing that practice. I don't know if today ask our hospitals, I think they don't know, they haven't changed. Because okay. Today it's becoming increasingly common to delay that first birth. That keeps the venix on baby's skin for a while longer. It also gives more time for skin-to-skin contact. In those first few hours after birth, it gives more time for skin-to-skin contact. So should you hold off on the birth? The World Health Organization, that is abbreviated as WHO, recommends waiting at least 6 hours, and if you can go a full 24 hours, even better. So even within the World Health Organization, they know this. They tell you saying, at least wait. Who waits? Who does? Or even 24 hours is even better. Whatever you choose, just note it on your birth plan along with any other important decisions so that the nurse doesn't accidentally birth your baby sooner. How long should you let the venix stay on your baby? The World Health recommends leaving the venix on your baby for at least 6 hours and preferably 24 hours. Okay, as for an upper limit, there is no official recommendation. Okay. So, any questions pale hapa nitafika. My questions and contributions.
Excuse me, sorry, Brother Keagan.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. Definitely, I've been following the study, and that's so impressive. The first question, in fact, you've already tackled it. I just wanted to get full clarity on how long should we wait for the Venix gaseosa to last on the baby? Yeah, like instead of maybe, yeah, I wanted to find out that, but probably you tackled it. But what's the, is it the final say on you saying on 2 days or 1 day or so?
There's no any recommendation, but the World Health Organization, they tell you saying 6 hours. You can keep it for 2 hours at least. Others,
Okay.
others say 24 hours.
Okay.
2
All
hours.
right.
So I mean, 2 days. That's 2 hours. 2
2
days.
days.
2 days. Yes. That
Okay.
is 48
Yeah.
hours.
All right. And then the
Yeah.
other thing was I also wanted to comment on yeah, I think on this one, looking at what the church has done, we cannot say that the church, most of the people, most of the leaders in the church have not heard of this, because we are reading from the councils and probably from the general conference, they would have come across such councils. So we cannot say they've not heard such councils, but would have said some of our leaders who have heard of such councils would have, for the sake of compromising with the world principles, they just had to trample upon such counsels and lay them aside and go with the principles of the world so that they can go on apace. What I would advise, or what I would like, I would have loved to see is that, look, if this message, if this message was to be, if we can leave this message, if we can leave this message and the message can be proven and tested, then what would speak much of us would be testimonies. Our testimonies, because look at what, how the saints in the book of Revelation overcame the devil. That it was by the blood of the Lamb and by the words of their testimonies that they overcame the dragon. So the words of our testimony in proving what God has spoken and what God has entreated, it is what will overcome the principles of the world. So by virtue of what you also commended, that we need midwives on the camp. So if such things will be lived upon our lives, then we'll be able to testify. And like Daniel and the companions, when the people outside would see what we are talking being practiced among us, those who would hear our message would flock unto us and see our children grow healthy and also intelligent and wise. So they would see and flock to see what the Lord has done. So by virtue of doing so, the message will go far and broad. So I for one, I really appreciate, and I'm still following the study. Thank you so much.
Okay, Zigomo Angoma. Today we've added a lot of vernacular so that we sound authentic. Yes, Sister Olivia. Yes, I saw your hand before. Go. It's a VERNIX. X. X. Okay.
Baby. And often times when after the baby undergoes the problem with the stomach, I think you agree with me.
Yes.
Or they buy oranges to help with the what is the poop. Yes, to help with the say the baby is having problems digest or even going to the toilet. So for me, I appreciate this fact that the fact that the role that the parents play. And then the question that I have in Genesis where we see Esau, Jacob's 21. You see that Jacob built the
hill.
yes. So does it mean that God wants to bridge because normal birds we are told to say just the head. But
Okay, but Sister Olivia is asking, after she's confirming, saying it's true, because a lot of children are born with a colic. Colic, that is is it gases? A lot of babies, they complain of stomach problems. So she's saying it's true. The reason to why they are born with that is because it's obvious they remove or they disturb the vernix. And again, she's asked the question, posed the question, saying that Esau and Jacob, was that a breach? Okay, that's his asked the question. Because Jacob held a heel of the what? Of Esau. So the answer, you know the position of the breach. Position of the breach is any, let me show you, I don't know if I have here this picture. Okay. The breach. Okay. Yes, and I don't know if you have it. Oh, I didn't put. Didn't put a breach picture. I bypassed it. Oh, yes, so it's this one. No. So a breach picture is a child, like a child doesn't intend, can use mendo chair, or can be, there are different types of breaches. But the child hasn't, because the child has to pass through using the head. It's the head, whichever the ten, but as long as it's the head, now that is normal. It's not considered breach. But there are breaches where a child hasn't tend, it's the legs, okay, the lower limbs, or achoka, azipeteka so, achoka chamatako. Those are breaches. So when you look at the case of Esau and Jacob, all of them, they tend. That's the reason Jacob managed to take hold the what? The heel. You know the heel. It's the hand. So all of them, they tend. So that other one wanted to pull. So the examples of the breach in the Bible, it was let me check. But do they even call it that? They call it that breach. Perez and Zera, that was a breach, okay? Or it was the same thing? Because I read that one was considered also a breach. Remember Perez and Zera? Judah, yes, Tam. Perez and what? So I don't know if that was called a breach, but breach is defined in that way, the way I've explained. Okay. But for Perez, yeah.
No, I was just looking at what Brother Ngoma was asking. Yes, in fact, we recommend delaying your newborn baby full birth for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And Brother Ngoma, did you hear? They say you can even go to 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
I was
Oh, really?
searching it Yeah, because I just searched the Venox caseosa, meaning then here it says, in fact, we recommend delaying your newborn's first full birth for at least 2 weeks. So it means they can just be wiping. And I saw like the baby that I'm talking about was in hospital. We were just using wipes for the whole 3 months that the baby was in hospital.
Yeah. So that is a breach. A breach is if a child is not protruding or coming using the head, but using maybe the legs or the butts or any other breach, that is considered a breach. The normal coming out of a child through the birth canal should be the head. So vimeoneka so kapena ningaizuming So they look, you see, this looks like this. Umeona? Muone sasa ndani. So another important thing is the hair they are born with. That is another one. There's a hair that these ones are born with. They are born with certain hair, these ones. The baby. They call it Lanugo. I don't know English. Lanugo. Lanugo. Where am I? How do I remove this? Why do I go to the screen sharing? This is sharing. Where? Here. It can't. Where? Eh.
Minimize this part.
Where?
What about that one? I don't know where you pressed.
I don't even know where I pressed it.
Oh, ask anyone on the list.
Okay. Are you able to see the screen? I wanted to remove this.
Yeah, the screen, yeah, we can see the screen here.
And you can read it.
You can read that?
Yes.
Okay. The Lanugo, this one, another one is the Lanugo. Where is it? Okay. They are born with a child. Let me just read. It says, Lanugo is a soft, fine hair covering a fetus while inside the uterus womb. It helps protect them and keeps them warm while they grow. Some newborns have lanugo covering their bodies at birth, especially if they are born prematurely. Lanugo can develop in people with eating disorders or certain tumors. As the mother nears full term, several things happen. The babe or baby loses the lanugo covering, much vernix remain, reaches an average size of 50.8 centimeters, about 3 kgs. Eye color is slate or slat, blue or black. It will not be fixed until exposure to sunlight for some time. Baby drops down several inches to the abdomen. This is called lightening, and the head becomes engaged the head becomes engaged. This means it pressed firmly against the cervix. The birth is closed at hand. The birth is closed at hand. And these are symptoms that this is full term. You will see the what you call the child, or this, the pregnancy, what do they call it, the pregnancy bulb, it drops. Once you see there, because there's how you check the first trimester, that is first 3 months. The first trimester, you will know, you just do the measurements. Okay, you can tell how old the child is. This is the first picture that I placed here. By using here, you can check how many, or just by looking at it, you can check if the bulb has reached the belly button. You can tell, say this one is 5 months, if it is. But if it's below the belly button, you know that this is first trimester, and it's small pregnancy. Above the belly button, but with two fingers ahead, you know it's 6 months. That is second trimester. But if it reaches here, you'll be able to tell just by looking. You'll be able to say, this pregnancy, it's yenda kuma 7 or 9 ya kwana 9 months. Okay, that is it. Down one. No, because that measurement doesn't work. The others, unless you're telling me, saying others whose pregnancy is not C or nega. So the others whose pregnancy, you can't tell that they are pregnant. But once you palpate, you feel that the uterus bulb, it has reached beyond. Unless that's what you're talking about. Because for it to grow, once it goes down and she's due, she's due. Because once it reaches here, 9 months, what happens? It drops. These are the ones that we read. It says, you check, it drops. Because the child is ready now for coming out. So the head, so the pregnancy drops. You'll be able to tell that this one, Kapena siku, how here traditionally, culturally, how we tell that the child, a person is pregnant 9 months. Hello? The child is, the woman is pregnant 9 months, and the mimba sikugwa, vumo, the womb is not dropping. It means there are myths attached. There are myths attached to this. Kama mwamuna wake nzo sobera, ama sobera. Lasa mimba sister za sikugwa. Mwana karibe upinda muka. Okay, there are those. Just tradition, they used to tell, our mothers used to know, or just people around, if you have a wife and she's due, then mimba sinagwe, but she's due, ikalipa mwamba is still up. The myth attached to that is that you are a playboy. You have several women, okay? And many other things, or a woman also, she does many things. That's the reason they tell just through looking at the womb, the womb, they know the behavior of you and your wife. So what they do is that once they see that it's a serious case, they will look for medicine. Bakulu How do I-
Brethren, we have lost you. You've muted yourselves. Brother Keagan.
Oh, sorry. What I was stating is that if a child, this is the symptom by our tradition, if the womb is not yet dropped, it's a symptom that you, as a man, you are a prayerful person, or a woman is a prayerful person, or they are doing something. So what they do is that once we notice those things, we have to look for medicine to make the pregnancy drop. Huh? A prayerful person.
Please.
Sunvela.
Oh, please. Oh. Yeah, because it sounded like prayer. So I was like,
It means that you're a prayerful person.
yeah.
You, which doesn't, usumvela. If the womb of your child in pregnancy, in 9 months pregnancy, has not dropped, it's a symptom that either parties are not what? Are not loyal to themselves. Okay? This is a myth. So what happens? In tradition, we look for medicine to make the child, the baby in the womb to drop, or the fetus in the womb to drop. Okay? Kupindamuka. So that labor can happen fast. Okay? The first, they call it the first stage of pregnancy can happen. Then the second stage, then delivery. Okay, that's what happens. After the second stage is the delivery of pregnancy. So it's a big symptom amongst us in the cultural belief. It's a big symptom. When member or of womb of your wife is not dropping, it's a very big symptom in the third trimester if it is not falling. Where is it? Oh, it's down. Okay, so the lanugo, we learned on that one. The child is born with my hair, like a sickly person. Those are very normal. Okay, they are very normal. And once a child also is born like blue, lack of oxygen is just exposure to sunlight. At the hospital, they put a light per heat, then they place all newborn babies on heat. Sometimes they even forget the babies, pajaparika heater. They forget, they expose them, then they forget, then the child will be cooked there under that. But God has brought the natural sunlight. It is just taking a child outside, placing the child under the sun, exposure to sunlight, the child will come back to normal. Okay, that's very simple. Or even when a child has jaundice, born with jaundice or blue, less oxygen, the child can be placed under the sun. Then the child will come back to normal. So the process of childbirth is called parturition. Parturition, that is the English term. Then the hormone oxytocin is secreted from the mother and the process begins. Oxytocin is the same one that when you hug a person that you love is released, you know. That's the reason the more you love your wife during pregnancy, the more she's going to deliver well. The more you don't cheat, you are emotionally bonding with your wife, she's going to deliver well, because during this process, there's a hormone oxytocin, which is secreted from the mother, and the process begins. Okay. That is the process of parturition. So this is very important to have emotional connection and to show love with your partner during this. As we attach it saying, Musa, mukazimvera, kapena simumvera, because you know, they feel it. Women are women, they know when men do not, they are disconnecting themselves to them, they know. And do not feel appreciated. They have a negative outlook. Negative outlook, it will cause less secretion of oxytocin. Oxytocin hormone, which will help them in childbearing. Okay, in the process of childbirth. They will not have that hormone. What will happen? The child will not even survive. There are high chances of the child not surviving during childbirth. Okay. So these are the 3 stages of childbirth. That is labor, birth of the babe, birth of the placenta. So you know there's birth of the babe and birth of the placenta. The others that forget. You know, a child is even nurses. There are times when the midwife they forget. A child is they've successfully given birth to a child, then they forget a placenta. Then a person goes with a placenta, chimambo hola, kwambo hola placenta. And there are times when the placenta is what? Is eaten up. For instance, what causes the placenta not what causes the placenta to be eaten up? Because they have to assess the placenta. Once the placenta is given birth, it is delivered, you have to assess the placenta. If it is eaten up or there are stakes missing, meaning they are inside the womb, nishi uja muntu azadwala chamara. Okay, azadwala muzambo muzambo mvuta mara. So you have to look for medicine to help evacuate the womb, the uterus. There are herbal medicine that will help to evacuate. At the hospital, they use the vacuum evacuation. Or they use their hand, okay, to get with the matishu. You know, women, they undergo, you know, things. Because a person will just go with you know, the things that you buy when your wife is expecting. Also, you buy together with cotton wool. So that cotton wool, they're also going to use it to remove dirt in the womb. They will remove. And that cotton wool, you know how it is. It once it touches a place that is damp, it's not all of it that will come out. There are sticky stuff that will remain there. That's what they do. Okay. To make sure that it's clean. Those are the things that they go. I'm telling you how the hospital do it. They use the cotton wool, they go. The best way we use, there are a lot of medicine that we use. Like for instance, to clean the uterus, you can use yellow dog, or Ellen White, she recommended of the CISPAR. Okay, so you use yellow dog to clean the uterus. But at the hospital or World Health Organization said, do not take anything. They tell you not to take anything. Because during that time, a lot of, you know, hydrotherapy is done. There was not all of it that come out, you know. So what happens that you are after childbirth, you have to give a child, a pregnant a successful mother who has given birth, yellow dog, because the reason why yellow dog, it will prevent constipation. Number 2, it will allow cell replication. Then it will also refuel iron. Then it will clean the womb. It will clean the womb. And also, there are some things that you have to do. Fermentation. Okay? Kusina. Musina. Kuti vichoke. Mmaona kutati mkambosina, I don't know if you passed through that one. Where mwambo kusina, then vachoka vambili. You see them come out. Kuchina. Vyambo choka, so you begin to see them. That process where you send your woman away to go a bala, that is the process she undergoes. Then if it's a male child, she has a period for how many days? 40 days, she will be just bleeding. 40 days. She's cleaning the what? The womb, in case things remain there. Okay, and mukasina, the more musina, the more things are being evacuated out. Things are evacuated out. Then she feels relieved. Okay. So other exotic herbs, others they use the motherwort, sopemito. They use those are exotic herbs that are found in other countries like America and other. As here we have abundance of yellow dog. Okay, here abundance of yellow dog and many other herbs that you can chant. It's a teaspoon. It's a teaspoon. It should be a teaspoon a day in infusion. You make 250 mils infusion, because once you do twice, it's purgative. It's a laxative. So it has to be a teaspoon daily. Okay. If you do not have, you can use the other one. You go and dig the root of chisongole. The root of chisonga, that is the best. Okay, it's the best. These people, they don't know, because the books that we buy on herb, they just brought, and the herbs that they write there is the herbs that is found in their locality. Okay, the root of chisongole, is used for many things. It's actually the best. It's the one we use for this. I'm just mentioning something that you know, because the root of chisongole, it's not there in the books. It's not there. Yellow dog is the one that you find in notes. Okay. It's the powder. We'll put it in porridge. After this one, you can take twice. It's the one that also prevents miscarriages. It is the best, because in miscarriages, a person will bleed for a long time. Or if you just starts bleeding, you just give. The womb closes, you will prevent pregnancy, and you will prevent miscarriage. Okay. Then if again kubala, you give it to help. No complication. Yes, the same porridge. In many cases. Yes. Because look at how we do here. Orochimamina, you know mamina, how we do, like those people to easy labor. Afuno bala mungazi, afuno bala time ya fika. In the exotic people, that is the other world, other continents, they use the evening primrose and the raspberry, the one she mentioned. But raspberry is not ours. As it's exotic, it came. Though we have it, it came. Now we're talking of local. Vizimiri vililo, why? Vimamina. Viritani? Makole, vimamina. The fruit that has mamina. So, mama gulisa pamani bawanda. You just get the same one. Your wife, she's due. Mwendo kumba miju ya vija. Muka kumba miju. Mumu pasa. She's due today. You see, she's in the first stage of labor. First stage of labor, you begin to see water breaking. Mzaona manzi ya mbotoka. Hai, water breaking. Mumu pasa kuti amwe. Then in case now, because here in Africa, yes. Then the root. In case now your child, they did the sorcery. You know, again, there are a lot of here in Africa. There are a lot of sorcery that are attached to pregnancy. You use the root of what? Of what? Of castor. Mono. Castor. Use that root. Mwasakaniza pamoja ama aenda kupapa bwino 0 minute apoera choka kusi. Not the castor oil, castor plant, the root. Na mijuza chani? Hii. Mijuza chani? Ya chimamina, chimakole. Chisongole na kama is to prevent what? Is to prevent miscarriages. To clean the womb. Okay? But these two, they'll help in easy labor. Easy labor. They're going to help in easy labor. There will be no complications. Okay. These two, the ones I've mentioned. That's it. Okay, so you see, these are the ones that are there. These are the ones that you, who wants to develop this nation, you are removing the trees, right? But these are there naturally. They were not brought by anyone, by David Livingstone, and planted here. These we found, right? Again, they are natural. They are the ones that we've been using. Okay. Labor. 3 indicates that labor has begun. So what we are going to see, contraction begin, mucus plug. Yes, not making into porridge. Mweka madzi muwirisa madzi yokupya then amwa akama. Another method, the other method is they use if you want to just increase the womb mimba sinakwe, and it's supposed to be mamansi ya 40 weeks ya kwa ijavumo sinakwe, the womb hasn't dropped, and it is beyond due date. What happens? You use the castor root. Azambo nkalamo mo castor root. You know sitz bath. SITZ. Sitz bath. Muja mumadzi azambo nkalamo. Ona kankalamo che 2 days nishiyauka mimba. She will even feel it, the contractions. She will even feel it, yauka. 15 minutes. She does the sitz bath. 15 minutes. 15 minutes sitz bath. Nishiauka mimba. Okay. So there are a lot of the water doesn't burn. You don't put the water that is burning. You pain. No. It's actually for pain, because during pregnancy, females they experience what you call UTI and others fungal infection. So that one can also help her to prevent the UTI in pregnancy, because these things are very common in pregnancy. They are very common in pregnancy. So labor 3 indicates that labor has begun. Contraction begin, mucus plug is dispelled, amniotic sac breaks. Then you begin now. This is the first stage of labor. Maona tapa manje amufika pachimake. But it can take It can take even 24, 48 hours. Akambojoka vimanzi. Taking that's just the first stage. You're dropping, then you begin to see contraction begin. Mucus, others they do not even have contractions. I don't know mucus plug, you're dropping. But she's not in pain. Dilation begins. Actually, when you give the same one, the one I've told you, mucus plug, no pain. Dilation begins, no pain. She only has pain when she's pushing.
Brother Keagan.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, for the sake of Sister Ka here, maybe the that other fruit, the kamamina, the makole.
Oh, yeah, but who's any guy?
In English, it's snot apple.
Okay.
Or African chewing gum.
Okay. Sister Ka says the kamamina or mukwara. Oh, sorry. The one we call kamamina, it is the African chewing gum. African chewing gum. Or snow what?
Snot apple.
Or snot apple. Okay. Then the root of snot apple, I don't know if you have it there in America. The root of snot apple, we use the same root. When a person is in the first stage of labor, you have seen that the mucus plug has come out. Then you see the amniotic fluid. You see that. Once you see that, then to easy labor, you give the root of snot apple or African chewing gum. This one, this root should be boiled. You use decoction method. Should be boiled in water. Then you give, is it what you call 250 mils to a patient or to a person who is who is going into the second stage of labor, whose mucus plug has been what? Has been unplugged. Okay. Once you give that person, you ease the labor to even shorten the time of delivery. Okay. So in case of
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. In case of I don't know in Africa if in America there are issues to do with the myths attached to if a person sleeps around or plays around. You're married to a person who plays around or sleeps around, you put what we call, I don't know if they're in what, you put castor root. You put castor root together with the snot apple root. Yes, you make an infusion, then the person should take. Because according to exotic information knowledge, they only know castor root to help easy labor or to shorten the time of labor. They have those notes. They have notes. The only root they know, it is the castor root. That's what they know. The people on the media, the notes that you are going to find on the media, they only know castor root. They know castor root, raspberry, and dew. Dew, you know, dew seeds. These are the things that they know. And even in primrose. Okay. So 3 indicates that labor has begun, contraction begin. Once you see this contraction, but this you cannot, if you trust the hospital, don't go to the hospital. Contraction begin. Your wife is going to stay 1 week in the hospital once you see, because this is not a clear sign that the labor has begun, contraction. It's not a clear sign. Number 2, mucus plug is dispelled. This is not a clear sign. Amniotic sac breaks, at least this one. This one, from the point when you begin to see amniotic sac, vimanzi vambochoka, the water coming out, oozing out from the uterus. This one is a clear sign, but it can take 48 hours or even 72 hours, 48 hours at least, for her to begin to have to deliver. This one just gives you chance, time, and the chance to prepare. Because once you see the amniotic, once you see that the amniotic sac has broken, you have to wait. Experts, they wait. Okay, they wait. You have to wait. Once you wait, then now you can wait maybe for a day, I mean for 24 hours, then you go. Then you stay there. Once Mama Vija, you stay, or you can drink, you take, after the amniotic sac has done, you take, then you wait. Then you take maybe twice. The following day you go. Then you discover that you just come. It will just stay, it will be just 2 hours or 1 hour, you go. They will just ask you saying, what happened? You will not stay a long time in the labor ward. Yes, I said, yes, there's the bleeding. There also is a sign. Others, they don't. Others, they don't. Yeah, that is the first stage. It's the first stage. Yes. No, that is, it says he wants to take me back to the issue of the placenta. Placenta, we haven't even reached the placenta, because here we're talking of signs of, we have to talk of a child that we have given birth, what to do. Then we have to take off the delivery of what? Of the placenta in the second stage. So contraction, initial uterine contractions are short and mild, but frequency, intensity and duration increase. Intensity, and so you begin to experience first again, you have contractions, then the contraction will go. Then if you experience the pain, the contractions that do not stop, it is continuing. It means that this one is going into labor. It's a clear sign. Duration transition stage. The cervix completes dilation and stretches over baby's head. The entire process usually lasts from 4 to 18 hours. That is the entire process of dilation. Kafika chape 10 centimeter. Nishi kwa siri yafika. So the problem is that you know, that is the problem. They always check it. Is there dilation? We're checking. Is there dilation? Again, they check. You know, but you do not have to do that. You don't have to do. It's not necessary. Once a child is due, there's no need. There will be a time when there's crowning. The crowning process begins. You begin to feel the child will reach on day what? There's no need to measure. Mucus plug is dispelled. The mucus plug falls out and cervix dilates. It is accompanied by a tinge of blood and is referred to as blood tissue. See, the mucus plug. Amniotic sac breaks. Okay. So others, they will not even see the blood. Others, they happen to see the blood. Others, they don't see the blood. They will just check this. They do not even see it. But they will see the amniotic. That's the reason the amniotic sac breaks. It's a clear sign because they will see the water. And this water can last for hours. You know, this way. That's a clear sign. Because she will not even lie down in bed. She's seeing water. So that's a clear sign. Before labor begins, the amniotic sac breaks and fluids gushes out. Sometimes the sac must be broken manually. Sometimes manually, you know the reason to why manually. Some C-section can cause that. Okay. Others who are born with the amniotic sac, the others that can be born with the amniotic sac. Okay. Actually, they say those who are born with amniotic sac, they become superheroes. Those are myths attached to that. So they say Jesus Christ was born with an amniotic sac, so meaning he was a prophet. Yes, because the child is in the amniotic sac, so it has to break for you to remove the child. It's a normal thing. So for the child to come out properly, so should be out of the amniotic sac. But others, there are few births where we experience the child being delivered with the amniotic sac. Most of them are operations, yes. So there are these, you've seen here. I don't know if you'll be able to see. So you've seen. Okay, so the uterus has growth. So there's the head. The head is right at the head of the pelvis, the head of the child. This is the head. I don't know if you're able to see. Right. So it begins to dilate. You must dilate. Because again, once you palpate, you begin to palpate. So this one, it will now reach the normal work is that 10 centimeters. Ikafika 10 centimeters, 100 dilation, choka one. Okay, but others they eat too much during pregnancy. That's the reason I tell people during pregnancy, please do not eat too much avocados during pregnancy. Too much avocados will make a child grow very big. A child will become 4 kg, 4.5 kg. Very big. The passage of the child coming out, 10 centimeters, it will be too small for the child to come out. So you moderate avocados during pregnancy. And the other foods, I know avocado. Avocado is the one, because I know avocado, when we saw that the child was weighing 2 kg. Just did avocado in a month. In a month, the child was born 3.8 kg. You see how the avocado works. So now imagine your wife, she eats avocados throughout her pregnancy. I'm telling you. Okay, do. Because the pregnancy, because the pregnancy, what it is, if you give your wife avocados during what, you are the cause if she experiences C-section. That's what it is. So there are foods that you should be cautioning, because even the key signatures of plants, avocado, it tells you saying that there's a child inside. This one, once you give it a pregnant person, this avocado goes direct to feed the baby. And the avocado is 90% fat. The child will grow very fast. Then you give. What will happen? No, I'm not saying that you shouldn't give. I'm saying you should give in moderation. So let us end here now.
Any questions or comments?
Are we still there? Okay.
Any questions for those of us online? Gift, David Ngwenya, Sister Ka Chimuka. Okay, it seems there are no questions from the people online. So at this time, we'll call Sister Olivia to come and close for us in prayer.
Mr. Olivia.
Brother Chris,
Yes.
yes, before we close,
Okay.
yes, I have a question where
Oh, okay.
Brother Keagan has touched about the hair a bit there. My question is, for how long should the hair be cut after the childbirth?
How long should the hair be cut?
Yes.
Oh, you're talking the lanugo is in the throughout the
Lanugo don't cut, but he's talking of the normal hair. Lanugo is that hair that's
yes, that's the only one I touched.
Yes, I know, but his question is different.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yes, I mean the hair in the head.
Oh, in the head. Others,
Yes.
you know, there are myths attached to that. Others, they leave the hair. You leave the hair to grow. Others, they cut the hair. They cut the hair, they wait. This is just a myth. There's no foundation. So others, what they do is that when a child reaches what you call 3 months, a child reaches 3 months or begins or reaches 1 month, what they do, they cut the hair. Once they cut the hair, then they have to get rid of the hair properly. That's what they do. But if you don't get rid of the hair properly, they can use that hair for charms. Okay, you understand? Huh? The hair of a
Yes.
child is very much used for charms, for power. Okay, so they get rid. That one is just a traditional way they use. So it's up to you how long you feel. But the normal time is 3 months, or as if the moment you want to be to remove, what do you call that? Kumucho someone. Eh?
Bring the child out of the house.
To remove the child outside out of the house.
So public,
public view. But the others, the children, they are born with this hair. Others who are born with this hair, you leave the hair to grow until when it grows. That's when you begin to what? So it depends. Others you cut after 6 months. Others who are born with a lot of hair, you have to trim or to leave it until when you feel like to cut. But that hair which is cut, you should get rid of it very well. That is the key point. Okay. Don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so very much once again. I just want to repeat for those that joined late to say we had a challenge in the morning, so we swapped the morning program. The morning study was shifted to the afternoon, and the afternoon program was done in the morning. So I'm sure those that are surprised of the changes now are aware of what transpired. So that's basically what happened. So in closing, shall we all kneel down as we seek the Lord in prayer? Heavenly Father, we want to thank you for your mercies and love, even as your truth is ever new every moment. And as we are seeking to do everything right, you are showing us many of the things that we have never known, or even to some extent we have been neglecting. All we ask and pray is that as we understand our roles and duties that men can do and those that they cannot do, we pray therefore that may you help us to follow your instructions carefully and to apply them in accordance with the lessons that you give us. May we therefore be learners and also practical people of all those things that you teach us, that eventually we may avoid the temptations that are filling the world like cancer. And it is seen that most of the things that we are calling normal are very much abnormal in your sight and the way you want us to live. So with this lesson, dear Father, we pray that let each heart, each mind begin to interrogate the best way to live for thee, such that when we begin to do these things, indeed we'll be called by different names and will be suspected. But in all, we want to know and understand that it is better to gain heaven by living right with you than to be a friend of the world and lose our souls and eternity. Even so, we pray that have mercy upon us and continue to guide us in the path of truth and righteousness. In case in our study we spoke those things that are beyond or have not been able to please thee, we pray that may you give us tongues, minds, to be able to communicate in a way that will be conducive. How we pray, dear Lord, that even where we use our vernacular language, we pray that the Spirit of God will be able to interpret through the other ways that we are used to interpret the same to catch the glimpse of our study. We know that this study may go on YouTube and other places for other viewers and listeners. We pray for them too, that they may be able to grasp that which we have learned today, that together we may begin not to criticize the ways that God is showing us, but to humble ourselves and realize the mistakes, the many mistakes that we have made, even as we have ventured to allow men to be in the field of midwifery, which is a role inspiration has guided that it should be for women only. Therefore, lead us in step by step through these wonderful points of truths that we are learning, that as we establish your sanitariums and outposts, these are the very things that will be done according to your will. For this, we humbly ask and pray for, with thanksgiving in our hearts in Jesus' holy name, even as we continue saying, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is done in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptations, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Amen.